Heather Sides. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! I come to you live every Wednesday night with 3 new card ideas. We make them together and we have a little fun along the way. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm glad you were able to find us and join us. And if you're returning, thank you very much. You are such an important part of building this little community that we have. And I appreciate you coming back week after week. I apologize, I'm a little bit late this week. I had something going on, got stuck in traffic, all the good stuff. So, but I am here now. I appreciate your patience as you had to wait. I'm just trying to pull this up on my big screen now so that I can make sure to see your comments. Speaking of comments, make sure you're participating in conversation, whether it's offering suggestions, talking to each other, asking questions, any of the above. Because what I'll do is I'll put your name in a drawing and I will draw that and award the prize next week. I do this every week. And if you are watching this on replay, or maybe you're a wallflower and you don't really want to participate in conversation per se, make sure you at least say hello, tell me where you're from, because then your name will still go into the drawing. So I want to make sure to include everyone, including the people who watch this later on a replay, because I know this isn't necessarily a time that works for everybody to watch it live. So let's see here if I can get this up on my screen now. There we go. Oh, I've got some great hair going on too. Woo, this is nice. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the camera turned around. We're going to award the prize from last week's conversation. Oh, before I do that though, by the way, I just want to remind you that we've got some great June specials going on right now, and they end on Friday. So our designer series paper is on sale, 15% off. We also have a great deal going on. If you choose to join Stampin' Up, you spend $99, and instead of getting to pick the usual $125 worth of products of your choice, right now you get to pick $155 worth of products of your choice. So that's an extra $30. Plus you get a paper pumpkin kit, plus you get free shipping on your kit, plus you get some catalogs and such, and you get a demonstrator discount when you purchase your own items. So if you have questions about that, you can certainly email me, you can contact me here on Facebook. You can also go to my website to get more information about that, and you can sign up directly there on my website as well. So do let me know though if I can answer any questions to help you decide if that would be a good choice for you. So I'm going to turn the camera around now and let's get going. Okay, so now we do the thing where I fiddle with the placement of my phone. There we go. Wow, that's really wonky, isn't it? Got it closer to straight. Closer. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, gotta let the dog be able to run in and out 1,000 times. So it looks like we've got, let's see who all we've got here so far. Marcia, hi. Hi, Tanya, Joyce, Judy, Nancy, Becky. Becky, that's a new name I've seen. Are you new, or are you just coming out of the woodwork for us today? Welcome, it's nice to see you. Kathy, 2 Kathys. I love it. The 2 Kathys always show up at the same time. And then Sharon, John, Nell, and Talina, Marcia. Oh, thank you, Marcia. And speaking of my birthday tomorrow, I want to show you guys something. I got the best surprise today in the mail. John sent me this birthday card. Isn't this a cute card? It's so pretty. I love this ribbon. And he even sent me a new pair of snips. You guys hear me say every week, I need to get new ones, I need to get new ones. And John got me a pair, and I thought that was so sweet. So thank you so much, John. I really, really appreciate that. It really tickled me that you thought of me. So thank you so very, very much. I also have a couple of other cards I want to show you that I got in the mail. John sends out random act of kindness cards every month, and he does such a fabulous job with these cards. This is his card from this month, and he had a sweet little note inside of them. And look at this card. This is so cool. It's such a cool fun fold like this.
isn't that awesome? You could open it this way too. I mean, if you put a sentiment going that way. But isn't this a beautiful card? So this was John's Random Act of Kindness card this month, and I love it. And then also, Susan Goodman sent me this one, a little birthday card with a sweet little message inside. And isn't that adorable, the little ice cream scoops? And so thank you, Susan, for the card. That was just very touching. And look, she decorated her envelope. So thank you both. And I love to share the cards that you guys make because, you know, I'm not the only one who stamps. So I love to share other people's ideas as well. Okay, so the prize for this week is from our, I wrote it down this time. It's our Country Floral Lane Designer Series paper. And then I also put in some of our Country Gingham paper. There is some burlap ribbon, and then the polished dots. And you can kind of see them. They look really nice with this set. And so that is the prize for this week. And this week's winner is Cheryl Randalls Merzenich. I hope I said that right and I didn't just totally slaughter your name, Cheryl. I think I have your address. I'm pretty sure I do, but I will let you know if I don't, so I can get this mailed out. But I kind of think you've won something before and I have your address from that. So congratulations, Cheryl. Okay. Yes, no, John's cards are the best. He always does such a nice job on his cards. Okay, so are you guys ready for this week's amazingness? So the first card we're going to do, I love this. I used a product that is not a Stampin' Up! Product. It's something I bought on Amazon. Okay, we're all crooked and wonky now, and you know I can't handle that. I just can't handle it. And Lucy's barking, and I can't handle that either. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I think we're good. No, we're not. We're crooked again, and that bugs me. I can't handle it. Okay, this is still crooked, but we'll see. Okay, so this card, I am so excited. This card right here, it says happy, happy, happy birthday. And this is the inside of the card with the little polka dots. Are you ready for the best part of this card? Look at that. Isn't that fun? Those are called wobblers, and you can just buy them on Amazon. They have them in different sizes. And this is the small or mini or something like that. And I want to make sure to point that out because the very first time I bought wobblers, I didn't realize that, and I ended up with ones that were like this big. Yeah, a little bit too big for my card. So you want to get the mini wobblers, and you can see they're just like a little spring that has sticky stuff that attaches to your image and sticky stuff that attaches to your card base. And there you go. Boing, boing. I love that. So anyway, let's go ahead and make this card. All right. There's a lot of layers to this card, but it's still a pretty easy card to put together. Let's start with the envelope. The strip here is 2.5 inches by 6 inches. Gonna put my glasses on. My eyes are getting old. You know, I don't use the wobblers all the time because, you know, they're just something fun and extra, Tanya, but they're not expensive and they are fun to have on hand. A while ago, we had a stamp set. I can't remember what it was called, but it had to do with, you know, being sick, get well soon, get back on your feet again, something like that. And one of the images was a turtle on his back. And so I made some get well cards with that turtle and then used wobblers. And it was a lot of fun. Okay, I used a little more glue than I needed, than I should have there. Okay. Get this lined up. You want to line the top of your paper and the top of your envelope. And this is not lining up super well for me right now. Oh, loosey-goosey, you're going to drive me crazy. got some glue on my fingers, which means I'm getting it on the envelope, so I'll have to take my adhesive eraser to get that off. Not a big deal. Another product that is not a Stampin' Up! Product, however, it's inexpensive to buy on YouTube. What am I thinking? It's inexpensive to buy on Amazon. Oh my goodness, these new scissors. Oh, they feel so good. I'd forgotten how crisp new scissors cut. You know, just the feel of them. Thank you, John. Okay. Okay, so got the envelope done. Little garbage can open. This is my adhesive eraser, and I'm just getting some of that glue off that I had on my fingers that got onto my envelope. See how it just erases right off? It's so nice. Oops. Okay, now let's get started on our card. The card base. She is Joyce. Joyce is Lucy's wild tonight. She's always wild. But my neighbors are outside, and she gets excited when she sees them outside, and she runs to the window in the front to look, and then to the back to look, and yeah, it's a whole orchestration. Okay, so this is a half of a sheet of gorgeous grape. It's 8.5 by 5.5. It's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. And I love this purple. I think it's just a nice rich purple. I don't know why I don't use it more often. It's like I almost kind of forget about it. And every time I use it, I think I need to use this more. Okay, now we've got a few layers here. Let's do the inside first. So this piece is 5 1/4 by 4. And I've just got these little strips. The designer series paper that I used is from the Subtles designer series paper pack. And I've talked about the paper packs for our color families before. Each pack comes with 4 different patterns in each color of that color family. Now, all of the packs, all of the different color families have the same patterns, but you get all of the colors, which is really nice. I like to have them on hand because when I want to do some sort of designer series paper, but I don't necessarily have something particular, you know, like a particular paper I want to use. These are kind of, I don't want to say generic, but they're not necessarily themed, so they work really well. Now I'm going to glue this on, and then I'll just trim off the extra. Okay, put a little glue on here. I'm gonna spread that a little because it's a little thick on that end there. And just leave a little bit of a white margin there. And as many of you know, because I've said this before, I do like to make these pieces a little bit too long and then trim them down so that they fit perfect, just because I would rather that than have them be a little too short, because that just drives me crazy. Let's go ahead and glue this to the inside of the card now. Okay, set that aside while we start on our layers. So what I have now is, this piece is Highland Heather. Looks like I need to kind of fold down. Sometimes when you cut, a little lip sticks up on your paper. You can just take your bone folder and flatten that back out. So a piece of Highland Heather that is 5 1/4 by 4. Then I have a piece of fresh freesia that is 5 by 3 3/4. And then I have a piece of basic white that is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and stamp. And the colors that we're using, as you probably could have guessed, are Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia, and our new pink Bubble Bath. The stamps that we're going to use are Happy, and birthday. Now we'll do the bunny here in a minute, but let's just do these first. Now when I'm going to stamp the word happy all the way down, and what I like to do is kind of start in the middle. That way I can kind of gauge where the middle of my line is going to be, and that way I don't end up with them all squished at the top or all squished at the bottom. So I'm going to start with my Highland Heather. I inked these up last night, so I wanted to make sure it's not too super inky. Okay, so I want this to be about halfway up. Yeah, that looks like it's about halfway. So the bottom of the word happy is at about the halfway mark. Oh, and it's crooked. Nice. Okay, so now I'm going to do my fresh freesia right under it. And the nice thing about these photopolymer stamps is that it's really easy to line them up because you can see where you're stamping. Now I'm going to do my bubble bath. And last but not least, let's get that gorgeous grape. Ooh, that is very dark. There we go. So we've got that kind of cascading array of colors. And I love how that pink works with those because I didn't have a fourth purple to use and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but really that bubble bath worked perfect. So I'm going to put away these ink pads and then I'm going to stamp the word birthday with the gorgeous grape. And I'm kind of overlapping the word happy. There, just like that. Now let's go ahead and put all of our layers together and get them on our card. So you can see, even though there were a lot of pieces, a loosey hair. A lot of pieces here, because there are so many layers, you can see how it's coming together very fast, and even the stamping was pretty quick. There we go. What do you mean, Sharon? I don't understand the question. Pink and turquoise toy is what? Yeah, you know, Talina, I'm with you. Most of my cards, if they don't have Lucy hair, they have my hair because I shed just as bad. Okay, let's go ahead and glue this onto the front of our card. Center it. Remember, we strive for ish, not perfection. So centered-ish. Okay, now I just have a scrap of basic white, and I've got my Memento, my black Memento ink. Make sure my little guy is fully inked up, and then I'm going to stamp him. There we go. Oh, I forgot to show you guys what I was using. So I'm using the Playing in the Rain bundle. Let's put this ink pad away before I do some damage with it. Okay, so the Playing in the Rain bundle, which means the stamps and the coordinating dies. And then I'm also using the Biggest Wish stamps. This is a great sentiment set. I love it because you've got the different fonts and you can mix them and match them. You can use just one. There's just a lot you can do with this. So this is a great sentiment set to have. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and color this little guy. He's not going to take very long. I'm going to start with my Bubble Bath Stampin' Blends. So I start with the dark, and I'm just kind of going like that on his ears. And then I'm going to take the light one, and this just kind of blends it a little bit, softens the edges because I'm using the light one. And then let's go ahead and take our gray granite, light and dark. So we'll start with the dark. And I'm going to go kind of around the edges of his ears a little bit like that. Oh, I forgot to do his nose. We'll get his nose here in just a sec. And I want to get around the edge here. His little hands. I'm just kind of getting the edges of his fingertips. And then his little legs and feet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brush tip here, and I'm still using the dark one, and I'm just kind of partially coloring in his face, just a little bit, okay? Then I'm going to take the light gray granite, and I'm just going to try to blend in the darker stuff here around his ears. And then just very lightly going over that section that I just left white. Because I still want it to be gray, but I want it to be a little bit lighter. Giving the illusion of light on his face. And I think I want to come back with a little bit more of the dark here. Okay. Maybe a little bit more on this side as well. Okay, let's go ahead and do his nose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dark Bubble Bath, and I'm just going to kind of do the tip of his nose. And then I'm going to take the light Bubble Bath and blend that in and do the rest of his nose. And now I'm going to do his jacket with Highland Heather. I'm going to start with the dark. And I'm going to make the lapels of his jacket dark. Down to the V of his jacket. And then, kind of like I did with his face, I'm going to still keep the dark, but I'm going to fill it in a little bit with the brush tip. And now I'm going to take the light and go ahead and blend. And I think I do want to add a little bit more shade or dark over here on this side. All right, so now we have our cute little bunny guy. And I'm going to grab my cutting and embossing. Uh-oh, Sharon's not getting audio. Is anybody else having a hard time hearing? Oh, that's funny, Mary. Mary asked if I think of Alfred Hitchcock when I say that. I don't, but I will now. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Now I've got my little cutting machine. Okay, so most people are hearing me okay. Oops. Oops, I grabbed the wrong thing. Hang on. Okay, got this right here. I'm gonna get the die. I love this set of dies. There's just so many dies. I mean, even things that we don't have the stamps for, like tree trunks and stuff like that. So there's just so much you can do with that die set. Okay, let's see. Now get this all lined up just right. There we go. You know, these little cutting and embossing machines, they work so nicely. And if you don't have one, I know it's a little bit of a cash outlay to get them, but boy, they are nice to have. I mean, because you can fussy cut too. There's no reason you couldn't. Okay, so let's put the die away. Now we've got our wobbler. This is what they look like. You've got this piece. This is the side that I adhere to my card. And then there's this piece that's hollow. Maybe I'm doing it backwards. I don't know if it matters which piece is on your card and which piece is on your stamped image, but that's what I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the release tape off the piece that's going to attach to my image first. And in this one, you know, originally I put it right in the middle, and he just kind of was kind of wonky on the card. And I think maybe it's because I was thinking the middle of his body, but then you still had all this up here with his ears, where by putting it right behind his head, it kind of was more the middle of the image, I guess. So just a little tip there. Now we're going to go ahead and take the release tape off the back of this side. There we go. Got one piece off. There we go. And here's our card. So then you figure out where you want him. And I put him at a little bit of an angle so it does look like he's dancing. And you know what? There's a little bit of that puddle showing right there. So I'm just going to trim that little tiny bit off. There. Put him right here. Look at that. Isn't he cute? And then just add a few little opaque adhesive backed gems. So let's see here. Trying to use up, I'm using 2 packs because I've got the different sizes. There. And now our card is done with our matching envelope. Isn't that adorable? And it was easy. It was quick and easy to put together. And there's still some glue on this envelope. There we go. All right, so card number 1. Put these away and we will get started on card number 2. Hey, Shelly, I didn't see you come in. Welcome. Okay. Now, card number 2. Give you a little background of how I came up with this card, because I would love to challenge you to do the same, to challenge yourself. One of our new colors, one of our new ink colors is this, what's it called? Hang on. Wild wheat, I think. Yeah, wild wheat. And I have to say it's not one of my favorite colors. Some people really like it, and I've seen some stuff done with it where when it's done with the right colors, it's not quite as obnoxious. I'll be honest and tell you, it kind of reminds me of baby poop yellow. But because I felt that way, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a card with it. Make a card that I like. Challenge myself. Because sometimes when you do that, you find, oh, I do really like this. I do like it better than I did before I made this card. So it is kind of growing on me. So I challenge you to do the same thing. If there's a product that you're just on the fence about, try it and just see, come up with something that you really like, and it may help to change how you feel about that product. Okay, so here's the card. I used some of our brushed gold for the envelope and then for the centers of my daisies. And there's the inside. So let's go ahead and get going on this card. And of course I used very vanilla instead of our basic white. Standard half sheet where it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So let's get going on this guy. Let's go ahead and fold this since I have it right here. Now Kathy says she really likes the wild wheat. And you know, that's one thing. Everybody has such different tastes. And Stampin' Up, I think, does a great job of kind of accommodating all of those tastes. You know, there will be some products that I don't like as much that you might love, and vice versa. And it's because they do such a great job of offering a really good variety of products. So kudos to Stampin' Up. Okay, so now I've got my 2.5 by 6 inch strip to put on my very vanilla envelope. And I love the Stampin' Up envelopes. You can get them in both white and vanilla. And yes, there are cheaper envelopes you can get out there, but they are cheaper. You get what you pay for. These are a bit higher quality paper. They've got sort of a satiny finish to them. I really like them. They're nice and sturdy. They look nice. They look finished to me. Okay, so got my brushed gold strip. Now let's trim off the extra. Now this, just so you know, this paper, it is not colored on both sides. It is colored just on one, and it is thinner than most of our designer series paper. Not that it needs to be thicker, but just to let you know. Oh, and don't let me forget to show you my TV remote. Yes, you heard that right, my TV remote, because I've got a story for you. But I don't want to tell you too much yet. Okay, So our envelope is done. Isn't that pretty? I really do like that brushed gold. I bought it and I haven't really used it much because I thought it was too fancy, but really this is a fancy card, but not super duper fancy. Oh, that's good. John says he thinks of these colors like fall colors. Oh, and Joyce says Cajun Craze is her wild wheat. Yeah, Cajun Craze, sometimes I like it and sometimes I'm not so sure what I think of it. Okay, so now I have this piece. Again, I forgot to show you what products I was using. What is wrong with me tonight? Okay, so the stamps we're using the Cheerful Daisies bundle, so the stamps and the dies, and then also Time Worn Type embossing folder. And I like this because it gives me a nice texture in the background without it being a specific design. And I'll show you what I mean here. I don't want to get this too close to the screen or it'll get fuzzy, but you can see how it's just, what it looks like is like old newspaper that over time has kind of started to rub off and get kind of fuzzy. And if you look at this really close, you can actually see some words, like right there, it's got the word harvest. But for the most part, I have no idea what it says. So it just gives you a little bit of texture on your card. Let's go ahead and glue these two pieces together. There it is. Okay, now I'm going to take, I have these two strips. So this brushed gold is 1.5 inches wide by 5 1/8. And then the wild wheat is 5 1/8 by 1 inch and 5/8. I had to think that through. So let's go ahead and put that on our card as well. And sometimes I prefer to use the liquid glue to do this because there's such a narrow margin and it's easier to line it up and make sure I've got it where I want it. But this paper is so thin and I don't want the glue, the wet glue, to buckle my paper. So let's see here. There we go. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put this on the card. And then before we move forward on decorating it, let's do the inside. So I'm going to line this up, give myself, about 3/8 of an inch or so on the left. Maybe a 1/2 inch, it's up to you. I mean, there's not a precise measurement there, just kind of what works. Straight-ish. Okay, and let's put this on the card and then we'll stamp the inside. Get this centered-ish. Yes, Joyce, it is a very artsy embossing folder. It's kind of that shabby, chic sort of look to it, I think. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the wild wheat ink. And I've got this little daisy stamp. And then I've also got the little center of the daisy. And I'm going to ink it up and do it right here in the corner. When you first stamp it, this color almost looks green, but it soaks in to, once it kind of soaks into the paper a little bit, it doesn't look quite as green because you can see how much it lightens up. This is the one I stamped last night versus the one I just stamped. You can really see as it soaks in, it lightens up a little. Okay, so then we're going to do the center. Like that. Okay, then, you know, usually I stamp or do a strip of designer series paper. Tonight we're doing both. So this is where I was talking about, like, I like to use the liquid glue because when I go and put that designer series strip over it, I can sort of wiggle it around to make sure that it's centered, that I got it where I want it. So I just kind of quickly lay it on there, and then it takes a minute or so for it before it gets tacky, which allows me to slide it around a little bit. Now this one I didn't make extra long, I don't think. No, I did not. So now we're going to glue it on. So just a little bit of glue here. And this one I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it right up to the edge of the card. So you've got that little flower peeking out from behind the gilded edge. Okay, so now let's work on all our little details. Oh, I do have a little bit more stamping to do, so let's stamp the tag. And this tag was in the set of dies. Everything all the dies that I have here are all from the dies that come with this set. Okay, oh, that's not the one. Here it is. Wishing you the brightest birthday. A little bit of ink, then line her up. Straight-ish. There we go. Get the stamp all cleaned off. Okay. So now we've got our little flowers. I'm going to start just putting these in piles so that like pieces are together. My little flower centers. Okay. And got my glue. Now one thing you can do, and I always think about using this product after I've already cut it out, but we do have adhesive sheets that you put on your paper before you cut it with the die cutting machine, and what it does is it turns your die cut into a sticker, and then you don't have to worry about glue. Hey Jenny, welcome. And then just figure out how this lines up. Again, with this one, it's nice to have the liquid glue because I can sort of wiggle to make sure I get the pieces right where I want them. And then I'm going to take the little gold center, just like that. Let's do the next one. Whoops. There we go. Now both this flower and this flower use the same centerpiece. only one it's the top and one it's the center. So let's put these little guys together. Get this lined up just right. And then wiggle it a little bit to get it where it needs to be. So now one of these is going to go right in the center of the flower, just like that. And one is going to go on top. There we go. Oh, I might not have gotten quite enough glue on there. There we go. So, I'm just going to trim that because I just don't like the shape of it as the top there. So I'm just rounding it just a tiny little bit. And now let's start placing everything. So what I usually do is I'll lay everything down, kind of figure out where I want it all, which of course I've already done because I made the card once, but I'm just showing you my process. So I go like, okay, I like this, then, you know, put this here. And I just kind of put all my little pieces in where I think I'm gonna want them and then go, yep, I like that. And then I wipe it all off and I go, okay, let's stick it down now. So I start with my big flower here and I'm gonna put it right about here. Ooh, that was a lot of glue. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and start putting these little sprigs in here. And what I do with something like this is I like to put a little bit of glue on the front and a little bit of glue on the back. That way it's going to stick to the card itself, but it's also going to stick to the piece above it. And it's just loose up here, and that's fine. And now, let's see. We'll do this one right about, I want to make sure it's not going off the edge of my card. Okay, so. That's a great idea, Joyce. Joyce says that what she does is she lays out her pieces where she wants them, and then she takes a picture with her phone so she remembers how she wants them. That's a great idea. I really like this suite too now. And you know, it's funny, I didn't get the paper when I first got it because I wasn't wild about the paper. And now I keep seeing cards with it, and now I need to order the paper because now I like the paper. Okay, so I've got my little sprigs in. Now I'm going to take, what I did is I used old olive for the sprigs and some of the leaves, but I wanted just a little bit of additional color, so I did a couple extra leaves in garden green. So let's glue these guys in. I was at a stamping event, and I might have told you guys this before, and there was a gentleman there from headquarter offices, and he brought with him the hand-painted originals that the designer who designed the paper, the daisy paper, had used. And I mean, we're talking literally on the paper, you can feel the brush strokes, hand-painted. It was really cool. So now I'm just going to put this one here. And let's see, we'll put I have this one where it's the set of 2, but I'm going to trim it a little bit because I don't know if it won't go in far enough because of my glue. So I'm just going to trim that down. See if it'll go in far enough now. Oh yeah, that's good. So tomorrow I'm going to be the big 5-0. You know, it's funny. My own age doesn't make me feel old, but my kids getting older makes me feel old. Isn't that funny? Okay, so let's see. Get this piece in there. I don't like that there. There we go. And now I need one more of these little green leaves. So hold that thought for just a moment. And all I did for these leaves, by the way, is it's this die and these. So I'll show you how I got them without wasting a whole bunch of paper. Okay, I just need a little strip here. Okay, so I just have a little strip. Oh, I don't know. Is this one big enough? It's big enough. But what I did before is I just had a strip that wasn't quite this wide, and I lined it up like that and just got those leaves, so I didn't waste a whole bunch. But I need to get it to fit through on this machine, so I'll be putting a little more on there than I need, but that's okay. So I've got all these extra little pieces that it cut there. And what I do is I like to keep my scraps that are usable for other projects when I need something small like that. Okay, and then just pull this guy off. And I really only need one of these leaves. Okay. Back on track, Heather. So now let's just get these last 2 of our little leaves in there. Got a little bit of a glue booger stuck in there, I think. Uh-oh. Hold on here. Gonna have to glue that down a little bit. Okay, so let's see. I've got a piece there. A little bit of glue there. Now this, because I accidentally pulled this little bit up, I'm going to put glue right there, put it back together. And got a little bit of glue on my fingers, which got on the card, but I'll wait till that dries, and then I'll use my glue eraser, my adhesive eraser, to get that off. But there we go, card number 2. This is lifting a little bit, and I don't like how it's lifting, so I'm just going to put a little glue under it. And it's lifting because I had lifted it up to do the leaves. There we go. There we go, Joyce. My grandma always told me, you're only as old as you feel. Oh, yeah, the sentiment. Thank you. Okay. I'm holding these down for just a second so it gets tacky. Got a lot of glue on my fingers, so there's going to be a lot to be erasing here. Let's see. And last week I put a little offer deal thing out there, and it's good through tonight. Anybody who places an order of $50 or more before I turn 50, so midnight tonight, I will send you one of these adhesive erasers. And you can place a website right there, or place an order right there on my website. Okay. I really should have put my leaves more there, but that's okay. All right. Okay. Now we'll take some dimensionals here. Oh, I feel you, Susan. Some days I wake up feeling pretty old. And I'm just gonna figure out right about where I want this, right about there, get it straight-ish. Okay. And there's our, oh, you know what? I maybe need to put a little glue there or it's gonna get pulled right off. So just a tiny little dot of glue on here, or else it'll make a big mess. Put a little bit on this one too. Just enough that it tacks it down. There we go. So card number 2. And I did find that after making this, the wild wheat was growing on me. So I'm going to play with it some more and see what else I can do with it. All right. Put some things away. And we'll get going on card number 3. Thanks, Talina. Thank you, Joyce. And the last card, this one is pretty quick and easy. We're using the Beautiful Balloons stamps. This does come as a bundle. You can buy it with the dies as well. Remember, when you buy a bundle, you get 10% off in doing that. Okay, this is the card we're going to make. And I'm casing this. I saw this one on Pinterest. The original artist was Ellen the Happy Stamper. Again, I found her on Pinterest. And she did this card with, I don't know if it was the Parakeet Party or Granny Apple Green or Lemon Lime Twist, because they all look the same to me. But she did it with black and one of those bright greens. So we're going to go ahead and make it with the Tahitian Tide. Ooh, I bumped the phone again. Tahitian Tide. Hey, Kathy, welcome. So this is our card base, another basic card base or standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Okay. And again, to decorate our envelope, it's just a strip 2.5 inches by 6 inches. I love when I've been getting cards from you guys and I see that you guys are decorating your envelopes. I should get the envelope from the card from John. He decorated his too, but he did it in a different way, and I really liked it. It was kind of cool. But I'm sort of embarrassed because the envelope and I got into a bit of a disagreement, and I still am not sure which one of us won, so the envelope is in really sad shape. Okay. And now I'm just going to put this on there, make sure that the edge of my paper, the edge of my envelope match up. And then cut off the extra. And then before I get going on the card, I'm going to tell you guys about my remote. So I got up this morning, tried to use my TV remote, and I couldn't get it to work. So I asked Jackson if he might be able to fix it. He didn't think he could, so I'm going to show it to you guys, see if any of you guys have any suggestions of how I might be able to get it to work. Okay, so there is our envelope. Glue on my fingertips. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, so anyway, if any of you guys have any suggestions of how to get my remote to work, let me know. Yeah, that's what I found this morning. And there are 3 individuals who live in my house. And I will let you guess which one of us did this. Get down, Luce. Yeah, needless to say, I was not super happy with my friend. Okay, so now we've got the inside of the card, and for that I have a piece of basic white. It is 5 1/4 by 4. Yeah, a big hammer. You know, that's not a bad description. Little stinker. Okay, so first thing I did on this one, this is another one where I did both some stamping and a strip. So what we're going to do is do the strip first. Maybe. There's my glue. Yeah, it was Jackson. I find him chewing on my stuff all the time. Normally we put it up on our fireplace mantle where she can't reach it, but that did not happen last night, and she had a great time with it. Yeah, he can be pretty destructive. Oh. Okay, so I've got this ready. Let's go ahead and glue it onto the card. Yes, she was in big trouble now. And you know, they do stuff like that, and then they look at you so proud of themselves. Like, look what I did. It's like, yeah, you'll be proud of yourself if you can outrun me now. Okay, so got that on there. Wiggle it just a little bit because it looks a little bit lopsided. There we go. And then I'm going to stamp a few balloons on the inside. And the colors that I used, because for this card, all I used was the Tahitian Tide and my black. And we've got all the different balloon sizes. And a happy birthday sentiment. Okay, so first for the inside, I stamp this guy just kind of going off the edge of the card. And then I did the little one in black. And I'll show you something that I think is kind of cool. So you stamp it, right? And you can't see it quite so much now, but you will as it soaks into the paper. But look, you can see the other blue or the other balloon a little bit through that black, just like you would with a real balloon, which I think is really cool. So then we've got our strings here. Oh, I got a little bit of ink there, but I can probably get that off with a sand eraser later. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put this inside of my card just so that it's out of the way. And then the front of it's going to come together pretty quickly because all we're doing is stamping on it and a couple embellishments and we're good. There we go. And now I'm going to stamp this nice big balloon going off the edge just a little bit. And then let's do the little balloon, also in the Tahitian Tide. Remember, when you're doing something like this, you want to do your light colors first and then stamp the darker colors over them versus the other way around. So now I'm going to put this ink pad away. That doesn't look like I got good coverage of ink on there. Okay. And then the last balloon, which I think is a really fun one, is this one right here. Okay, and now we're going to take the little ribbon. And something that the gal did that I hadn't actually given much thought to before is see how that little loop is up there? She did some with the loop at the top and some with the loop at the bottom. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. Okay. Oops, and then we want to stamp our sentiment right here in the corner. And then some black matte dots. Actually, let's wait to put those on. Let's go ahead and get this on the card just because it's easier to put the adhesive on when it's laying flat. You know, Joyce, you're not alone in that. I think we all, you know, we get new toys, whether it's the new colors, new stamps, new whatever, and we forget about the good old ones, you know? Yeah, Talina, she rearranged the remote. Well, I needed her to arrange it back. So now we're going to stick this down on our card. We're going to put a few dots on here. don't know if I like that there. That's a little better. Okay, so card number 3. Cute, huh? Quick and easy. Okay, so let's clean up the mess here. We'll take a peek at all the cards we made tonight. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, had fun, any of that, I love it. If you give me some hearts, thumbs up, any of the above. You could if you share my video, that really helps. Those are the things that tell the algorithms that you enjoyed this and you participate in it, and others might enjoy it. And it just helps to get my name out there, helps us to build our community. Hold on here. Oh, okay. And then, of course, the other things that you can do to help me build my business is shopping on my website at heathersides.stampinup.net. If you place an order on my website, if your order is under $150, if you could use that host code, that helps me a lot. That helps me to continue to provide these videos for free. Oh, thank you, Marcia shared. It helps me to continue to provide these for free and prizes and all of that good stuff. But if your order is over $150, please don't use the host code, because you'll have some free rewards coming to you from Stampin' Up! And I want to make sure that you are the one who gets them. Okay, so let's take a peek at what we made tonight. Got our balloons and our daisies and our cute little bunny with the wobbler. I love it. Which one is your favorite? Go for it now. Case them all. Again, I had a great time this week. You guys are my favorite time of the week, spending time with you guys and our community here. And I hope you guys have as much fun and enjoy it as much as I do. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you guys next Wednesday, same time, same place. Bye-bye.